Hello guys, welcome. Just double check if I have two mics on. It should work hopefully. Just give people a second to come in as always. While we edit, I will send you guys a link. Hello Renan, I texted you on Discord, FYI, so check your messengers, spams, whatever. Hello there, Hubert. Panic. Shut down my monitor. Great, thanks. No rush though. Hello people, welcome to the bootcamp. This is the fourth bootcamp of this little cycle. We're doing animation today. We're going to do it a little bit different than what we usually do. So it's going to be fun for everybody, hopefully. And yeah, my name is Oliver, fourth semester student at CADA. I like animation, that's why it's here. Hello there. The 26th of March, there is an open house. So write it in your calendar. Let me just pull up for you guys. Yes. So in 3 weeks from now, if you want to know more about the education, you want to come see it here in Copenhagen, show up here, sign up on the website, and yeah, I might be here this time, and you can see what it's all about, and hear a bit more about like economics and stuff. If you have any questions, you can of course also just write to me. That's also okay. Yeah. Okay, so I've sent you guys a link in the chat. So go ahead and download that, and you should open up this scene here that I've made so artistically. So pretty. I know. Just fix this. Something like this here. Okay. So while you guys download that, as always, I have my screencast keys down here. That means whatever I'm pressing, you guys can see it. So if a middle mouse, you can see it here. If I click shift, it's gonna show up here. So first off, I, as always, want to show you guys how to navigate, and then we're gonna jump straight into our task for today. It's gonna be a brief one. No rush, but we just wanna do something simple that looks satisfying. So if you hold middle mouse and you drag it, you're gonna rotate around the scene. Left click up here does the same. You can see it moves when I rotate. Hold shift and middle mouse to pan around like this. The hand does the same. Scroll wheel or control middle mouse zooms in and out. Or you got the little loop here that you can use. Okay, so pretty simple. Again, it's all up here, but you can use the middle mouse for everything. Next up, we want to manipulate something when we animate. We want to move it, but I'll go into that shortly. First off, we need to enter what is called the pose mode. Because right now, you can see here we're in object mode, and in object mode, we can't really animate very well, if at all, actually. So let us start with the basketball here. So you click it, click one of the icons here, and you want to go up to object mode, click it, and go to pose mode instead. And it's going to change a bit the UI here. Don't touch too much because you might ruin your scene. So it should have changed colors now. Let me see if I can actually click on multiple. You can also click on both if you want multiple at the same time. I'll just click at the basketball first. So what we can do here is we can move it by clicking G to grab. Okay, G to grab moves the ball around. R is gonna rotate it. So depending on which controller you use, it's gonna rotate it along different axes. See, this one is called spin. Might be good to use. So G to grab, R to rotate. And if you want to scale it, you can click yes, but we're not going to use that today. So we're going to look very briefly at what we have here. We have different controllers, and I pick these rigs that I do because they're simple. If you have a full face rig with a bazillion controls, you are gonna lose it. I can show you guys what I'm working on right now in a second, but you're gonna die. It's not gonna be fun for you guys. So we're gonna do something simple, because then we can actually get something that hopefully looks kind of decent. So 1 second. Then you guys can get up to speed. I'll just, because I actually want to show this, it's pretty cool. Okay, so the first main control we have is our root control. If you click it, it doesn't work to just drag it. Well, you can, but it's not going to give you the right setting up here. So if you click it, see, if I grab it, it's going to move here. If I rotate, it's going to rotate around here. Next up, we have this body control, which is going to be our main one that we're going to use for stuff. And we also have one if we want to spin it. See, just even clicking G is only going to rotate, so it's locked to rotating. And lastly, we have these squash and stretch controllers. We might use them, we might not use them. That kind of depends on how far we get. They're gonna be extra things. So, when you animate, you need to select the controller and you need to set a keyframe. And what is a keyframe? A keyframe is a point in time that you lock the position of your object. And that means, let's say I'm at frame 1 right now, and I want to lock my ball here so it always goes back to this spot when I'm on frame 1. I will click I, if I can. I select my control. There you go. And I click I as in Irene, or idiot. And you can see it made a little point down here. So let's say I moved it. I click I again. Now it's gonna animate between these 2 points. Okay, and if you don't like the keyframe you made, you can always just drag it and click delete. So that's basically how we animate. So a very brief animation is me going to frame 1. I click I on the keyboard. I go to frame 10. G and Z to push it down. And click I. And we have animation. So if I click spacebar, it's going to play. Alright. Control Z to go back, of course. Next up, I think this timeline is a bit big, so I'm gonna hold, I think it's control, yes, control middle mouse drag, and you can zoom. So control middle mouse to make it bigger or smaller, so I can see what I'm doing. And I don't think I need 100 frames, so I'm actually gonna lower this to 60 instead. And I'm gonna zoom in a bit more. So now I can see what I'm doing. It's gonna be easy to work with. Oh, and here you can see, this is a rig I'm working on right now. And you see, this is the amount of controls I have in the face. So, it's a lot. So just for the mouth, we have, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just for the mouth, we have 20 controls. And around the eyes, we also have that amount, so yeah, it's a lot. And then also for the, you know, for the arms and such, you will not be able to get anything done. So, hence the simpler rigs. Okay, so that was a sidestep. So, what we're gonna do today for animation is we're gonna do. Oh my god, it's a lot going on. Yes, there's a lot, and I think I'm also gonna make it easier for the animator to navigate around when I get that far. I can reduce the visibility of certain controls, so you only show up when you need them. Because yeah, it's overwhelming to get that in the first place. But you also want the control at the same time. So yeah, but the task we're gonna do today is we have 3 balls. We have a basketball, we have a bowling ball, and we have a tennis ball. We're gonna make them drop to the ground and make them bounce. If we have time, we're also gonna make them move a bit to the side, but you know, like this. But first, we're just gonna make them drop straight down. And the reason why we're using 3 balls is because we want to practice and play with weight, which means that, of course, the basketball is not gonna fall the same way and speed as the bowling ball, and it's definitely not gonna jump as much as the bowling ball. So that's the difficult part of an animator's job, is to just not move something, but actually make it look realistic the way they're moving. So if you have a big chunky guy, he's of course not gonna be super agile and, you know, run and sprint like a agile athlete. But there's also gonna be more weight behind his punches. So if someone gets hit, they don't just brush it off. They get thrown back really hard. So yeah, so that's why we start with the basketball. We're not gonna use physics. You don't do that in animation in general. When you animate, you have to feel it. You have to make it look like there's physics involved. So that's the beauty of an animator's job, but also the challenging part. Because I can easily, you know, animate this like this, and then it's gonna go up here, boom, and it's gonna jump down again, something like this. So now I have a bouncing ball, but there is no physics here. It doesn't look good at all. It also took 5 seconds. So our job today is to make it look good. So we practice a bit timing and the graph editor, but we're gonna do a simple animation. So we can see immediately how far is this. This is 4 meters. I can't remember what we use in Blender actually. I think it's meters. So if you draw a ball, how long is it gonna take for it to fall this far? And how far will it take? Let's say it would take like 3 seconds. No, not 3. Let's say it's not as far. Let's just do 1.5 seconds. We can always change the size. So I'm gonna skip straight to frame 36 and see how that's look. So I'll click G to grab, and then I'll click set, so it moves straight along the set axis. It's gonna be a lot easier for me to move it, and I will move it right where I can barely see the control, because that means I've hit the ground. So right there. You can also go to the side view by clicking 3 and do the same. It's gonna be a bit easier. Right there. Remember to be on frame 36. G and Z. Left click and click I. Very important. If you don't click I, it's not gonna store the information. You're not gonna save your animation. So let's play this. And right off the bat, this looks terrible. Just terrible. We suck at animating. One more thing actually before we go further. There's something called auto keying, which I would recommend that you use. Because if you forget to set a keyframe, let's say I'm here, I'm frame 30, I move it down, and I think, oh, I want to see what I did. It just didn't create a keyframe because we didn't have auto key on, and we forgot to set a keyframe ourselves. So I'm gonna click here, so it's red. I'm gonna move G and Z, and on a left click, you can see it automatically stores the information. Notice though, it only stores it in the axis that I moved in. So if I move like this, it's gonna store all of them. Otherwise, it only stores my set information. Yeah. So the next thing we want to do now is we need to time it better, because right now it's going slow, faster, and slow again, and that is what we call an ease in and ease out. They can be super good depending on what you use them for, but as a default, it's not a very good motion to have both at the start and the end. So we need to go to this corner here. There's a little clock, and we need to change to the graph editor, which might be overwhelming at first, but it's not as bad as it looks. I will say the graph animator in Maya is better. It's less messy. It's a better overview. But that's up to you. So I'm gonna give myself some more space. So what is going on here? All these lines are graphs. So the blue one here is our set translate. See, when I move it, it's the same as moving out here. Okay? So it's just a graphical overview of our keyframes. So as you can see, the graph is going straight, then going more steep, and then it's going straight again, being flat. So what I want to do is I want to change these tangents here, the black ends of my keyframe, because that's going to change how it's going to be animated. And when you drop something, it's going to constantly accelerate up to a certain point, of course. At one point, you're just free falling depending on your weight. But in our case, since it's a short fall, it's going to be constantly accelerating. So the graph needs to look what is it? You know, like this. It would drop, and then it's gonna be very, very, very steep at the end. So if you have a graph here, it should go, and then it should flatten out. Well, actually, when it hits the ground here, it should go straight and then fast and then slow down again. So something like this, just the other way, should be our graph editor. Okay. So we click here in our graph editor, we select a little black tangent, and we grab it down so it looks something like this. And we're gonna have to test it. So I'm gonna move back to frame 1, click, let me see what I'm doing, click space. So that's better. See, it's accelerating. The only problem now is it's taking too long. It doesn't take this long for it to fall down this. So we need to make the time shorter in which it falls in. That's super simple. You just click G here in our graph editor on the frame that we have made here in frame 36. G and X to log it along one axis. And let's just go to frame 24 in this first place. A lot better. What if we speed up to 18? That's even better. And if you now think it's going a bit too fast in the start here, you can change the other side of the graph. You can pull this guy a bit so it's falling slower in the start, and it's going even steeper. So I just manipulate the two tangents on both the first frame and the last frame. See, it's a blue line here going like this. And when I play it now, it's gonna be better. Oh, why do I have these? Oh, there we go. Still had it's a bit too much now, so of course I have to tweak it again until I get my desired result. I think that's pretty good. And you can keep playing around with this. You don't have to finish it now. You just need to get a decent start. So what's going to happen now is it's going to bounce off the floor, but it's going to have a bit of time where it's stuck to the floor, because you don't touch something and then it's like, I don't know, like when your foot touches something warm and you instantly pull it, you need to absorb the weight and then span off. So at first I'm going to give it 4 frames. So I'm going to go to frame 22, and it's going to be exactly the same on the Z-axis, and I'm going to click I. And we have a little hiccup here where it's doing this weird thing with the graph, and that's because it automatically pulls this guy out. So we need to change the way that the program is trying to automate and help us, because it's not helping us right here. You could try to push this, but it's gonna ruin the other side. So you need to click on the tangent that's going rogue and right click it. Go to handle type and change it to free. And you can see here on the editor that it's doing exactly, or the graph that it's doing what we want. So I'm gonna click this, and then you can move the other side freely. And you can try, now you can try and hit it so it's perfectly straight, but it's a bit of a whack way to do it. So instead I would set it to interpolation mode and try linear. No, maybe I need to select both like this. Yeah, okay, so you need to select both the keyframes where you want it to be straight between. I'm gonna right click and say linear on the interpolation mode. You can see it's also a straight line. And now it's just gonna stick to the floor. Okay, so you should have a drop where the ball is just dead. Boom. Now, when that is done, we need to move it up again. And let's see, how long did it take for it? We gave it 18 frames. Since it lost some power along the impact, let's have it reach the height at 12 frames maybe. So 12 plus 22 is 34. So I'm gonna go to frame 34. I'm gonna just copy the frame or the keyframe I have here, Control C and Control V. And now you can see that it's straight. So we need to again right click after we select all the keyframes, interpolation mode, or we can go to handle type and say automatic. No, interpolation mode, Bezier? Yeah, Bezier. Sorry. I don't know what's going on with my graph. It won't let me grab anything, so I can't move them. Yeah, try to reopen it. And you show you in the graph editor and not the dope sheet, because they're different. But yeah, Blender's graph is weird. If your line is straight here, you have to select the keyframes, right click and go to interpolation mode Bezier, because that's gonna give you these back. And now you can again change. The difference though is when it bounces off the floor, it's not gonna go in and ease in. It's not gonna do this and then increase, because it just got a lot of power and then needs to explode up. So it's gonna actually start with a pretty steep curve and then it's gonna ease out again. And of course it loses some height. So our keyframe down here, this one, we can move it up a bit, so it may be around here. And here. You see? This might be also too long between the two. I might actually move the whole thing one frame. So G and X, move it to frame 19 instead. That's better. Because the reason it looks weird is that the ball is doing nothing. But make sure you have this where it's falling faster, 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 sticking to the ground for a brief frame or 2 or 3, and then bouncing fast off. Next up, it reached the top. We spent 12 frames on the way up. Let's go 8 on the way down. So frame 41 for me. I'll have it back to the first frame again. This one. Control C, Control V. And again, we need to change the handle so it goes something like this. It needs to, be soft. Oh, not the first frame, sorry. The top frame here. These ones I need, of course. That's better. So it's, I need these two. So I'm going to delete these frames. I need these and this. There we go. So it's going to go down. This might have been too little. I'm going to give it 2 more frames. So frame 43 instead. Not too bad. It has what? No, it was 18 frames to fall, so it probably needs some more. So let's try and do 14. So it's going to be 47. I think this is going to be better. There's a bit of math sometimes, like you have to eyeball it sometimes. Okay, so try getting the curve to look like this. It's going straight. It's also annoying that right now the curve is inverted. Usually when something falls, the graph is going downwards. And then it stops at the bottom. Right now we have it inverted. So it's a bit messy for the brain. But I hope you guys can still get it. I don't know why it's inverted like this. Okay, now we have this base. Let's add some squash and stretch because right now it looks very weird that it just stops on the floor. So we go to the exact frame that the ball hits the ground, frame 18. And we're gonna click this top squash and stretch control. And right now it has no keyframe, so we need to set it first on frame 18 by clicking I. And then move it 2 frames. So not the frame it's gonna go up. The frame before that, gonna squash it a bit. We're gonna move to the frame where it is in the air. Move it up a bit. There we go. And I might actually increase the stretch a bit more. The squash, sorry. Maybe I'll also okay, so I'm actually going to keyframe it a frame before it lands. So when it's landing, it's already squashing. That's actually a very important thing I forgot. Because if we start the squash after it landed, it's not even gonna squash at all before it's gonna accelerate up. So now it actually has time to absorb the impact a bit. Hope you can see it here. Boing. So it does whoop. And I can actually move this a bit more. It stretches a bit. And then it goes to 0. Let me see how this looks. So right, I'm just trying to make it go up and then retain its shape again. Okay, so again, to recap, frame 18 is where the ball lands. So frame 17, the frame before, is where I want to keyframe at 0. Then frame 20 That means 2 frames later, I'm gonna have it fully squashed. And frame 23, I'm gonna have extended. That's 2 frames after it's up. And then I'm just gonna make it settle like right after. Another thing that would make sense is when you have a squash and stretch, you never squash slowly. It's pretty fast. It's something like this, I think. I think that's better. Because it's pretty violent when you squash something. It's boom. Alright. So we need to just apply this again later. So I can just go over these keyframes, Control C. Go to the next place where we are landing on the ground. So it's going to be frame 47. So I need to go to frame 46. Paste them. Not too bad. I feel like I have a frame too much on the ground. I think this is too long. So I'm gonna move all these keyframes 1 frame back. Like this. I'm gonna select my main control. I'm gonna move everything also 1 frame back here. So it's gonna be even shorter. That's better. I'm gonna do the same at the end here. And then maybe as well for the squash and stretch, I'll decrease how much it's squashing because it looks actually a bit much now. I just need a bit. I think something like this. Especially because it's a basketball, so it doesn't really squash that much. We just need to see it a bit. Cool. Next up, we need to do one more thing. So, and that is the air time in the middle here. So, when something is going up and being in mid-air, it usually has some time that is spent here. Not perfectly still, but it's not going straight down. It has like a little arc. And we already have it a bit here, but I would like to increase it a bit. So what we have from frame 20 to 46, so the middle is 33. So I think I'm gonna copy my 32 keyframe, Control C, go to frame 35, take my 32, move it to frame 31. And then I'm gonna take my 2 what are they called? Handles. I'm gonna make them go so they're in a little soft arc like this. Okay. I'm just gonna make this a bit shorter. It's pretty long. Oh, 32. I'm also gonna. Oh, that's right. Sorry. So I want something like this, like a nice soft curve. Oh, if I can get that. Let me just see if I can. Okay, I can zoom it in like this, holding Control middle mouse. It's gonna give me a better view. So right now it's a bit too much. I want it to look a lot softer like this. This thing needs to be soft as well. Also looks like both could be moved 1 frame to the right. Right, I'm just playing around with it. You can see there's a lot of tweaking, a lot of sensing what is gonna be right here. And this is the effect I'm going for. It's going up, and then it's right. Oh, you see, this is why it's looking weird. Between this frame and this frame, it actually does a little arc. Like this. And we don't want that, so we need to again make these two linear, so it doesn't do a weird bounce. So I'm going to change the interpolation mode to linear between these two keyframes. Let's see if this looks better. It does. So it's almost standing still at the top here in the second jump. Okay. This needs to be a bit faster. And now you can technically just copy whatever we did here and just make it a bit shorter every single time. And if you don't want to work with any other, what are these called? Translates, you can actually just hide them. Out here you can see which one is highlighted, the blue one. If you do this, it's a lot easier to see what you're doing. So now I can just again Control C and move it a bit. Now I can maybe add more frames. We ball squashed in all of the frames. That means you haven't set the click on your squash. Look up here and see if you have squashed it. So for example, here I have negative values, it's squashed. Then I move 2 frames up. I'm gonna set this to 0 and keyframe it, and it should not be squashed. So it's because you've set a keyframe, but you haven't set a new one where you change it, if that makes sense. You haven't, put it back to its original shape. Hope that makes sense, Renan. Oh, and Elena, did you fix the graph editor thing? Or is it still buggy? I'm gonna give myself a bit more frames. Where was I? Oh yeah, copy. Control C. Here it's 20 to 32. Great, nice. Yeah, but it's a common thing. You're like, why is this? I also had the same thing with mine that was like doing a weird squash in the middle. That's because the graph was not interpolated straight. It was doing a little thing. So yeah, you have to go back and check your keyframes and if you have missed anything. But this is 12 frames, so I'm gonna give it only 9 frames now. So that's 57. I'm gonna paste it, and I'm gonna put this a bit lower so it doesn't go as high. Something like this. I'm of course gonna change so this doesn't go so crazy. And I can also just move this all 1 frame in. Where are the other 2? Okay. Well, this is all something you've done basically before as well. So take it easy. Just make sure you get the nice arc going that we have here. So you can see this is becoming shorter and shorter. Of course, the bottom point here is the same because we hit the ground. And it's of course going to go faster, faster. And again, now we only have what? So this was 48 to 57. That's 9. So we're gonna do 5 maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 6. There. 6 and 6. Move it up, of course. So now it bounces even less. Something like this. And yeah. And I actually think mine is a bit too floaty on the second one here. It goes way too far up for my liking, actually. I think this is going to be better. Was a bit too little. In between, maybe, is the sweet spot. And this one maybe a bit higher then. Let me see. Okay, I still see something weird in my squash and stretch. I don't know if you guys see it. I think it's when it straightens out. Yeah, it's going way too high. So basketball does not move that much. I think this is better. That's better. So I'm gonna copy this and put it over here. And before it lands. And again, before it lands. It's frame 69 here, so 68. Of course, the bounce should be less here. And same here, it should be a bit less. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is basketball. I feel like it could need more care. I feel like maybe I have too much time with the... Maybe it actually only is on the ground for 2 frames. I think that might be why it's looking off to me. I'm gonna try that. And then we're gonna move on to the next one. Because we need at least one more. Only one, 2 frames at the bottom, not 3. That's better. I can tell already. That's why. So you need to play around with it and see what is a basketball actually doing. You know. So this whole squash thing should only be 1 frame. Actually. Two maybe, like this. Yeah, I think that's better. And you see it's increasing in time speed, which is really good. That's what we want. So this is a basketball. You see, it's much more. It's not floaty. Is the one word. That's not what you describe. So the basketball is the bowling ball is gonna be easier in a way because it's a lot heavier, but it's also hard to get right. I would say. You can also try, if you prefer that, to try with a tennis ball. That's very bouncy, so you can definitely do that if you want to. I'm gonna try the bowling ball myself. So I'm gonna repeat the exact same steps. I'm gonna go to frame 1, set a keyframe, and I think a bowling ball falls a bit faster, not a lot faster, especially not in this time frame we have here. I think at least a few frames, so maybe 3 frames faster. I'm gonna have this all the way to the floor, and here the graph is doing what it's supposed to. It's actually have the right transformation. So I can actually just set it to 0, and it's gonna hit 0, and it's like the floor, which is what we want. And I'm gonna change my graph so it goes faster and faster. Do be mindful though. Here it's going the opposite way. So this is the floor on the bowling ball. This is the floor. Just be mindful of that. Okay, I think this is good. It needs to go a bit slower in the start. And it should be a frame less. More. Okay. Now, bowling ball. We figured out a bounce is max 2 keyframes. So 16, 17, it's gonna stay still. Wait. I'm gonna again drag select, right click, and go linear interpolation. And then I'm gonna make it fly up. But I'm gonna give it like 3 or 4 frames. Move it up a tiny bit. Go back to Bezier. Wait. And this went the wrong way. I'm gonna make the handle type 3. And we can also do that. So you can use 1 at a time. I think something like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let me see. I'm just gonna test something. So I'm giving it 3 frames. I think that's not too bad. It's a bit too little. 1 more frame, a bit more height. GY, GX. I think that's better. So it needs to bounce a bit. And I can see because the bowling ball is so heavy and doesn't do a bounce, it needs to have, 0 frames on the floor, I think. Maybe also ball needs 1 frame, and I'm just a bit confused. Depends on the amount of bounce it has. We can try with the basketball to change it so it's only 1 frame. Like so. Let's see how it looks like. I'm gonna do this. Let me test it. I can do that, but then it needs to be a lot less floaty though. So it needs a lot less hang time. Something like this. Yeah, I feel like it kind of works. It's more springy at least. So you can play around with that for sure. But about my bowling ball, now it gave it 1, 2, 3, 4 frames. Next up, I'm gonna give it 1, 2 frames, I think actually. Because it's super heavy. Basketball. And lastly, I'll just give it, also gonna make it less height. GY. And lastly, I'll just give it 1 frame. Just to settle. Boom. So you can see the curve is going like this. It's going down. And these don't matter because it's 1 frame actually. Let's see how this looks. Okay, that's actually too little. You can see that looks weird. So it does need to have a bit more time to fall down. Or maybe the problem is that I think the problem is that it doesn't even bounce that much. I think it just stops here. I think that's the real. So let me try one more thing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's see. I feel like with the weight, it's still bouncing too much, actually. Oh. I think that's why I don't like it. I think it's better. I think. Oh. This. I think that's better. Okay, it's actually less. It's just bonk bonk. It's really little it needs. Something like this, yes. Cool. So that's 2 balls. And then you can change your basketball if you think it's... I feel like it's too floaty. I think it should be more springy. But again, I'm not a basketball expert, so I don't know, but I feel like it could be a lot more snappy and fast. Something like this. Gonna make this on 1 frame as well. Wait. 3. 52, 7. It's 8, so it needs to be like this. Okay, let's see this. Now, of course, the squashing is not matching. I feel like it might have too much power also going up. Or it has power for too long at least. Or it's hanging too long maybe? Oh, I've just made it worse. I think this needs to be steeper. Well, something like this at least. Now I just need to adjust the timing here. Boom. Go down. Go back up. And it needs to be right here. I'm gonna change it to 1 frame. And again, I'm gonna do 1 frame. White here, my dear. This here. Okay, I think that looks up a lot better. The last thing is, now this is jumping a bit too high, the last one here, so I'll simply just make it move a bit higher. Make it a bit less here, make it a bit less here, make it a bit less here. Something like this. So as you can see, animation is a lot of tweaking. Tweaking. Keep trying to get it to look right. And in an hour or two, it's gonna look good, so yeah. But the most important thing is that we practice the weight, that you can see the difference between these two. One is more springy. One is very heavy, stops really fast. And then if you really feel like you can, you can add some rotation to it. You can be do a little 360. And that should of course be linear. Linear. Or instead, we can also do a little spin. Might look cooler. So I'm gonna go I to, and I'm gonna go like 720. A bit more linear. It looks a bit more like something. Yeah. So this is the animation for today, guys. If you guys want to post it and get some feedback, you can throw it on Discord here. The link is on the YouTube channel actually in the description. Usually people sometimes share it here. Someone made a nice little bubble saw with some cute butt cheeks. It's very funny. You can do a little screen recording if you want. That's usually the fastest thing to do. You can also go under output, choose where you want to put it. So let's say I want to put it in downloads. Change the media type to video, isn't it? And change the encoding to MPEG4, or maybe QuickTime is actually the best one, I think. And the codec should be 264. So again, set the output where you want. I'm gonna call this ball anim weight. Accept. Now it has the name. I changed the encoding to QuickTime, the video codec to H264. And now I'm gonna go to my camera. It's right here. And if you click on the lock, you can change where it is. So you can have it something like this. Oh, it's moving. Oh no. Delete keyframes here. Click keyframes. Why is my camera moving? There you go. Okay, I'm going to delete all these keyframes on the camera. Move it up a bit. Zoom out a bit. And then if you go to render and render animation, it should render your animation and move it to the place you set it to. And if not, do a screen recording. That sometimes works. And then throw it up here if you want, and I'll give you some feedback either right now in the next 5 minutes, or I'll take a look at it during the week. If you guys want some, want me to look at it, I'll be happy to do that. You see, I do like animation a lot, but it's a lot of tweaking. It's a lot of small tips that you don't really realize until you sit with it, and you're like, oh, I see that now. And then you try again, and you do it again. And then it gets better and better. Okay, now I can go to render and view animation, and I can see it here. I actually think the basketball looks pretty good right now. More than the other one, at least. And now if I open my downloads, I have my ball anim weighted, and I'll throw that into the Discord. bowling ball, wait, decent. Basketball looks like it is straight out of Space Jam cartoon movie. And yeah, you can see it. And also I should, it shouldn't have stopped here, the basketball. I just didn't want to use more frames. Alright, got any questions, guys? Also for animation, or I don't know, about the open house coming up, or the school, or yeah, whatever. What we're gonna model next week. I think we talked about something last time that people wanted to do, but I don't remember exactly what it was. So if anyone remembers, you can tell me. That's right. Dun, dun, Oh, that's right. I did a poll. What was it? Was it on the YouTube? We did the gamer desktop. It was either tools or furniture. I might do another one where we do a face-off between. Right now, tools is most, but yeah, I think I might do that. I've seen that people actually want to do that. There's a lot of cool tools that can be interesting to model, like a wrench. How does that look? Coolio. Well, if you guys want to play a bit more around with it, make it look better, just tired, it's all fine. If you throw it up, I'll look at it sometime, and I'll give you some feedback. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in today. This is it. It was gonna be a short one. I'm pretty tired as well, so it's perfect. I'm going to Spain tomorrow, and haven't packed yet, so that's the usual. Yeah. So thank you all. It was a pleasure. I'm not gonna save. Bad boy. Mine's been terrible. Fair enough. It's also difficult. Rate is hard. It didn't target great. Yeah, it's totally fine. I would try with the if you can get the bowling ball to look good, that would be nice. Just make it shorter than you think, and that's actually how something heavy is dropped. If you drop it back as well, it just it just falls flat. There's almost no bounce. So just do the timing, and you should be good to go. Thank you, Rhiannon. It's gonna be great. I'll be back next week though. So see you all. Toodaloo.